Hi, my name is Brad Neal, and I moved to Venice in November of '83 from Toledo, Ohio. I'd been coming out here for summer breaks from law school, and I actually lived as a child out here for 2 years in Westwood, so I had a taste of the West Coast, and my mom wouldn't really let me come down to Venice, even with her, because it was a dangerous place. So of course, I always wanted to come back. And eventually, when I got out of law school, I moved out here and got a place at Thornton Tower, a little single overlooking the parking lot. It was $440, yeah. I started selling cars, I remember. But I think what attracted me to Venice was it was kind of like New York City's 14th Street, the Lower Village, at the beach. It had a little bit of everything. You had millionaires next to crackheads, and everything in between. It was exciting. In the 80s, there were breakdancers, young breakdancers, and chainsaw jugglers, and all kinds of performing artists. And we also had spoken word artists. The great Swami X was out here. It was an exciting thing to witness. It really was. And I found just putting my sunglasses on and taking a seat on a bench somewhere is all I needed to do. I could spend literally hours just hanging out. It was cheap, but it was exciting, and I thought it was just the best. I still do. I suppose there's a few things. There's no one thing, but I do think that the free spirit, the encouragement to be who you want to be, and the anything goes kind of attitude has drawn a lot of us, and that does kind of ensure that there's a great diversity of characters and spirit. So I think that alone maybe was for me the biggest thing. Obviously, that's part of it. This wide beach is incredible. I've been all over the country. I'm attracted to the water, but this beach is really phenomenal, and the Santa Monica Bay is incredible. So that the access to Los Angeles, which is a pretty cool city, it was, and the relative affordability, at least back then, Venice was cheap. So those three things, I think, were what drew me. That third factor, really, I don't know that I could afford. Well, actually, I can't afford my own place now. So it's changed, let's just say. It has changed. It is now a hip place to go. Yes, March 17th at 10:30 in the morning, I was at my Main Street office, and I got a call from my girlfriend saying, "Hey, you got a fire on the third floor." So I jumped in my car, flew over here, and I saw fire coming out of the third floor corner unit. And I thought, oh gosh, I heard fire trucks, but I parked my car off a speedway, rushed upstairs, checked it out up here. I went and got the keys, opened up where I knew there were animals, got dogs out and cats out and things like that. And the fire trucks were here, and it just was isolated to the third floor, so I didn't think it was going to be a problem. But unfortunately, there were other factors that day that kicked in after 10:30 when it broke out. No pressure at the fire hydrants. The wind kicked in. The unit where the fire had begun on the third floor, he was a former FBI agent. He had lots of ammunition, and he blocked the secondary egress, and he had lots of stacked up papers and flammables. So it was a perfect storm. And then finally, the firemen also popped a hole in the roof here and got burnt because there's 2 feet of crawl space. 7,000 square feet times 18 inches, a lot of fuel. So the fire just took off, and it burned him as well. He's okay. He was okay, but he did get second degree burns. So yeah, I was watching the fire. Then I stepped back and watched with the crowds that were growing as the fire grew. And I watched in sadness because, I'd owned this building since I got into escrow in '89. So this is 14 years later. I went through a foreclosure. I went through a partner that kind of tried to steal it from me. I had to sue him, and I won. And then now Mother Nature was going to kick me out. So I watched as the fire just grew and grew, and it just went on for hours. And it turned out to be the biggest fire of LA that year, 2003. There were over 100 firemen here, and it went on for hours. The fires, burned the whole building up. I mean, it went all the way down to the ground. Fortunately, we got engineers in here and held it up. But I do recall just sitting out there and crying, and it was kind of cool because a lot of people that knew me were hugging me, but there were people that I didn't know that were coming up and hugging me and hugging other residents, because we have 18 other residents besides me, because I lived in the building at the time. And we were all just kind of crying together and getting supported by the community together. And in some ways, the sadness kind of created the most incredible experience I think I might have ever had. Because we did lose all of our material possessions in just one quick moment. And we realized just how unimportant those things are. But also we got the support of the people of Venice and kind of got reminded of just what is really important, and just how much love there is out here. Homeless people were giving me these CDs I still cherish. Live Grateful Dead CDs. I mean, just unbelievable stuff. Just people I didn't even know that I got to know that day, and people that I've known for many years that I got to know better. But that went on and on and on for actually days and even weeks. The community kind of stepped in and helped us, and everyone found places to move, and those that didn't found sofas to sleep on. But it just showed what a special place Venice really is when it takes care of its own. And it did. It took care of all 19 residents, and the fire was an opportunity really to feel that, and for me to rebuild this wonderful building, because it had always been kind of bastardized. It was built in 1920 as one of the grand original buildings. There's only 2 other buildings on a double lot on the entire stretch of the Boardwalk, this being one of them. But in 1938, 18 years after they built it, they dropped an elevator in, and it kind of messed it up because they built the first floor up and chopped it up. And so once I had to start tearing the place apart, I was able to kind of understand how it was originally, and that was an opportunity as well. So I'm grateful for the fire, that we didn't lose any people, and we lost my daughter's guinea pig, but all the other critters made it, and I'm very grateful for that.